نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد بسم الله سورة الحديد. Surah Al-Hadid is a Madani surah, 29 ayat and 4 rukûs. Hadid means the iron, and it gets this name because surah mentions the strength and benefits of iron in verse number 25. Then what is the connection of the surah with the previous surah, Surah Al-Waqiyah? So Surah Al-Waqiyah ended with the command to glorify, فَسَبِّحْ بِسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ, whereas Surah Al-Hadid begins with the glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by all things that are in the heaven and the earth. Let's go through a quick synopsis of the surah. Surah begins with the glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and mentions some of his beautiful names, Awwal, Akhir, Zahir, and Batin. It describes creation of heavens and earth in 6 days, encourages spending the path of Allah, distinguishes believers from non-believers through their light in the hereafter, and discourages pride, misery, and greedy competition in worldly matters, and finally concludes with the mention of other nations like Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam and his followers. Some of the virtues of this surah is, as it comes in Tirmidhi, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقرأ المسبحات قبل أن يرقد ويقول إن فيهن آية خير من ألف آية. That the Prophet ﷺ would recite the musabbihat before sleep and say, indeed there is an ayah in them that is better than 1,000 ayahs. Speaking the surah, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح لله ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth glorifies Allah, and He is the glorified in might, the wise. So this surah is among surahs that begin with the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and such surahs are called musabbihat. Most of them begin with the word in the past tense, like this surah Sabbaha, but two surahs, Surah Jumu'ah and Surah Taghabun, begin with the present form yusabbih. The past tense signifies certainty, whereas the present form indicates continuity. So we get the encompassing meaning that for sure all things glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that they do so continuously. So Surah Hadid is the first surah among Musabbihat, and there are total 5 in number. Surah Hadid, Surah Hashr, Surah Saf, Surah Al-Jumu'ah, and Surah Taghabun. We learned about the virtue of this surah, that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that there is an ayah in the surah which is better than 1,000 ayah, and Ibn Kathir writes that that is the third verse, وَالْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. So let's understand this idea of tasbih that is defined here. So symbolically, it is easy to imagine how all creatures in the heavens and the earth may be declaring the purity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala due to His majesty, due to Him being our Lord. But we need to understand that everything proclaims tasbih in a true sense. So they say this tasbih in their own way based on their awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their Lord and Creator. However, we as humans are not able to perceive their chanting due to our limited capacity of hearing. As it comes in Surah Isra, ayat number 44, وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ, but you do not understand their glorification. So here, the idea is, it's not just a metaphorical tasbih, it's actually a tasbih that is chanted by everything. Allahu A'lam. لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. His is the dominion of the heavens and the earth. He gives life and causes death, and He is over all things competent. وَالْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. He is the first and the last, the ascendant and the intimate, and He is of all things knowing. So what is meant by first and last, and manifest and hidden, Zahir and Batin? There are more than 10 interpretations that are complementary to each other in describing these qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first means that there was nothing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He created everything. He is the first cause of all things that exist. The last means that He will exist even after everything else will perish, as it comes in Surah Qasas, ayat number 88, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything will be destroyed except His face or His being. We know that everything will end before the Day of Judgment, and that after taking account, people will be sent to paradise and hellfire forever. So a question comes to mind as we reflect on this attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does it mean that paradise and hell and the righteous people and the punished people within them share this quality of persistence with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they will be living forever? So hence they have some share in this quality. Al-iyadu billah. Nothing can be compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Laysa kamithli shay, as it comes in Surah Shura, ayat number 11, there's nothing like unto Him. So how do we reconcile this concept and quality and attribute of Al-Akhir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after the Day of Judgment, that He's the last one, that He will be forever? The scholars explain that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that everything will perish except His being, it could be taken in two ways, that everything will be destroyed, or that everything has a possibility and potential to be destroyed. So after Day of Judgment, when people are moved into paradise and hell, they could still perish, meaning they have the inherent possibility to be annihilated. But because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision, they will remain forever. The unique attribute of Allah al-Akhir tells us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will neither perish, nor He has a possibility of being obliterated. The next attribute, al-Zahir, signifies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is manifested in a way that is superior to all of His creations, that His being is manifested in every particle of the universe. A simple way to understand this is that the power of the sun, with its gigantic size and its fixed orbit and enormous heat and the necessary function to maintain life on earth and many other functions, is a manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, even a heavenly body as large as sun disappears from sight upon sunset. So its manifestation is no longer in this part of the world when there is night. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remains manifested. How? Now the night has onset. So by the onset of night and its coolness and appearance of stars and shining of moonlight, there is now another set of creations that guide us to the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power is manifested in those other creations that are visible to us at night. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remains Zahir at all times through His creation. And this manifestation then continues until the next morning when sun rises again. This is just one minor example of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's manifestation and His quality of Zahir. You can find Him in every aspect of life, in every part of the world, through His creation. And the last one mentioned in the surah, the fourth attribute, al-Batin, means that the precise nature and appearance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's self is beyond human perception. Hence our eyes are incapable of seeing Him. Imagining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like someone trying to visualize something that he is aware of just by name and some qualities, but does not have any information on the dimensions or shape. That is impossible in human capacity. And such is the characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is batin, not comprehensible by any intellect or reasoning or cognition or insight. هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يعلم ما يلج في الأرض وما يخرج منها وما ينزل من السماء وما يعرج فيها وهو معكم أينما كنتم والله بما تعملون بصير. It is He who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then established Himself above the throne. He knows what penetrates into the earth and what emerges from it, and what descends from the heaven and what ascends therein. And He is with you wherever you are, and Allah of what you do is seeing. So the word yaliju means penetrates. Ya'lamu ma yaliju fil ard, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge is in the number of seas and the drop of water that enter inside Earth's surface. All of that is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge. وَمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنْهَا means whatever comes out of earth in terms of plants, vegetation, and fruits are also in Allah's knowledge. وَمَا يَنزِلُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ pertains to rain, snow, hail, and whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to descend from heaven in terms of decisions and commandments is in knowledge. وَمَا يَعْرُجُ فِيهَا يَعْرُجُ meaning ascends refers to angels and deeds that ascend towards heaven. As we know from a narration narrated by Abu Musa and Ibn Majah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, يُرْفَعُ إِلَيْهِ عَمَلُ اللَّيْلِ قَبْلَ عَمَلِ النَّهَارِ وَعَمَلُ النَّهَارِ قَبْلَ عَمَلِ اللَّيْلِ. The deed done during the day is taken up to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before the deed done during the night, and the deed done during the night before the deed done during the day. And this idea, which is defined and described in this verse of وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, that's such a powerful and strong concept, a belief that we have that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us at all times. It is hard to describe the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or rather we understand that His decree, His will, is part of any action we perform and any situation we encounter. He watches over us and witnesses our deeds, whether on land or at sea, during darkness of night or brightness of day, in public or behind closed doors. He hears our speech and sees where we are, knows our secrets, and is aware of even our thoughts. It comes in Surah Hud, ayat number 5, أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ يَثْنُونَ صُدُورَهُمْ لِيَسْتَخْفُوا مِنْهُ أَلَا حِينَ يَسْتَغْشُونَ ثِيَابَهُمْ يَعْلَمُ مَا يُسِرُّونَ وَمَا يُعْلِنُونَ إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. No doubt they did fold up their breast that they might hide from him. Surely, even when they cover themselves with their garments, he knows what they conceal and what they reveal. Verily, he is the all-knower of secrets of the breast. Another one in Surah Ra'd, ayat number 10, سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار. It is same to him whether any one of you conceals his speech or declares it openly, whether he be hid by night or goes forth freely by day. So surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is omnipotent. He exists everywhere based on his knowledge and awareness. As it comes in Hadith Jibreel, where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asked about ihsan, then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you see him, and even though you cannot see him, he surely sees you. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم.